So sometimes on the path, we have what's called an energetic awakening. And by that, I mean that energy wakes up. Energy wakes up. And when it wakes up, it may be confusing and disorienting. Your chakras may start to spin. You may start to feel disoriented or confused. May have rushes of energy up your legs, up one side of the body or the other side. You may have intense headaches or pressure in the head. And when these types of things happen, the first thing that's important for us to do is to trust that the intelligence of the universe is waking up in us. Now, most human beings, they don't trust in the intelligence of God and the intelligence of the spiritual path, but rather they trust in their egoic nature, their controlling nature, their thinking mind. And that's normal. We're trained in our culture to trust our ego, to trust our thinking mind, our own intelligence and brilliance. But when your energy body starts to wake up, you start to light up and you feel like this. You're having all this light exploding within you. The 7 chakras are beginning to light up. A whole new body, a whole new mind is coming online. Each of the 7 chakra centers is its own unique mind. It's like its own unique brain and intelligence. And so you may find that at some point, whether spontaneously or through practice, that God awakens, say, in your belly or in your heart, in your throat. And can you trust? Can you trust in the process, even if it's uncomfortable? So I've worked with thousands of people who, out of nowhere, this energy starts to wake up in their heart. They say, oh my God, I'm having a panic attack, a heart attack. I need to go to the emergency room. Nothing wrong with going and seeing the doctor. But afterwards, if it's continuing, if the doctor says nothing wrong with you, can you look and can you begin to trust and see, what is God teaching you? What is God showing you? Do you trust that you are a child of God? Do you trust that you are a being of light? Or do you think you're just a flesh body? Do you trust you are a being of light? Because this is what we truly are. When we die, we go back to this. When we're in form, it looks like this. It's flesh and it gets old and it ages and it hurts and that kind of thing. And so when energy is waking up and God is trying to show you that you are really this, not this. And can you trust in that? Can you trust in what you are? And just like, being born into this world is painful. As you're a little baby, it's painful to come into the world and face the light and, poking and prodding and this kind of stuff. If you're a mother and you give birth, it's painful. An energy awakening, it's not always pleasant. Sometimes it's difficult. Evolution tends to be painful and messy. But the big thing is if you trust in the process, if you breathe, you feel, you open and experience, eventually we get to hear. We outgrow this identity as me as a human body. But for you to drop this and grow into that, these centers need to wake up and they need to become loud and vibrant and radiant with light. And that can be disorienting. It can be confusing. It can feel like anxiety. And sometimes it'll begin to awaken and then all of a sudden it'll turn off and you'll feel depressed or sad or lonely or think that you did something wrong. But again, don't go there into despair. Don't judge yourself. Trust. The growth process, just like the pregnancy process, it's messy, it's confusing, it's disorienting. Trust that you are a child of God. Trust that you are an energy being. That what you are is truly light, not flesh. And while you're going through this process, it could be helpful to have a teacher, a counselor, a guide, a support person. It's very overwhelming, very confusing. We go forward with trust and with guidance. With these two things, the path can be somewhat smoother. Without these two things, you'll just have a war in your ego, a war of your identity. Who am I, a flesh body or an energy, a light body? And so this is the invitation to open into that which is greater.